It is great to be joined by the head coach of Connecticut baseball, Jim Penders. How about Hook C, Uconn onto the Super Regionals for the first time since 2011, winning the College Park Regional over Maryland. Jim, this team has achieved historic feats, 49 wins, a program single season record. Why has this Hook C group been the one to break through?
Well, I think, John, thanks for having me first and foremost. And I think there's a couple different reasons. I mean, we have probably our most mature team we've ever had, not just chronologically. I mean, we have some 23 and 24-year-olds, certainly, but there's just a maturity about the group. And they're from all different places and all different walks of life. And, you know, everywhere from Bushwick, Brooklyn to San Diego, California, and everywhere in between. And junior colleges and four-year schools, from Harvard to a bunch of JUCOs in California. So at Limestone College in South Carolina. And I think that blend has given us a very different kind of look and character, not character, but different look than we've had. I think the character and the culture is still the same. They're all from hardworking families with sound values, and they saw something that they really liked in Uconn, and they want to win. They want to win very badly. So it's a good group, and it's indicative. You know, last night we got back after a long ride home on a bus ride from Maryland, and 5:30 at night is about a 7.5-hour ride with a stop, and I'm putting my laundry in the chute, and there's Corey Morton hitting in the batting cage, and so he wanted to work. He needed more work. So pretty cool hearing the ping of the bat. And that's just indicative of, I think, who we are. And
another big quality of this team is that they are deep. Let's start with your offense. In that 10-5 win over Maryland in the second game of the regional to catapult you to that championship game, every player in the lineup recorded a hit. And then you win 11-8 over Maryland to claim the title. What is it about this offense that keeps the line moving?
I don't know. It seems like if one guy's having a bad day, it's almost guaranteed the next guy up is having a good day. It's like he picks up the slack. And if I could bottle that, we do it every year. It seems as though we've been extraordinarily good with 2 outs, and sometimes it's frustrating for me because I know that in the back of my head, and I'm thinking, all right, nobody out, first and second here. I got to move them, right? I got to bunt. And then I'm thinking, no, let's let him hit. And then I'm kicking myself with 2 outs, but invariably somebody comes through. And so, I've learned to kind of put my hands in the pockets at third base instead of giving the signals, and just let, this time of year too, you really do kind of have to take your hands off the wheel to a certain extent and let those guys drive. And it goes against every kind of instinct that you have as a coach to do so. But I think that's part of the trick in the postseason is just try not to get in the way, and let them take over, let their abilities take over, and their mojo take over.
Let's turn to your pitching staff, and your catcher, Matt Donlin, has a lot to do with that as well. College Park Regional Most Outstanding Player. Your starters, Jim, in 21 2/3 innings against some high-level offenses, only give up a combined 9 earned runs. How important has that been to send a guy out there, whether it be Ian Cook or Austin Peterson, knowing that they can set the tone and keep you in it early?
Yeah, I think you hit on a phrase there, set the tone. And that's what our starters have done. I think that's kind of been the separator from years past, some regional teams that we've had. We've certainly had very good starters in all those regionals, but we have some experienced starters. All 3 starters that we ran out there in the first 3 games have regional pitching experience, and 2 of them had it last year. Enzo just had it in a different uniform in 2019 in Harvard. At Harvard. So they all had that experience to kind of fall back on. It's not new. And Ian Cook walks around like he's got a ton of experience. He's got a swagger and a confidence about him that is kind of older in nature. Even though he's a freshman, he doesn't act like it. This time of year, we don't have any freshmen. So the consistency that we've had is in large part due to, Coach McDonald does a great job with our pitching staff, and our relievers get a lot of credit, but it all starts with the starters. It starts with the starters, and Austin Peterson has been my most consistent starter that I've ever had in the last 2 years. He's just so reliable and so accountable and dependable.
Let's turn to your catcher, Matt Donlin, who hits a grand slam in the regional title game and has continually taken on the role as the catcher of this team this year and has impressed you. How so?
Yeah, well, I used to play the position. I know how difficult it can be, and he's done it every day. I mean, Matt Garbowski's our number 2 guy, and he can be an emergency guy, but his arm is really bothering him. He's going to have shoulder surgery this summer, and it should be a minor surgery. We hope he's going to be back for the fall without any hiccups. He should be. But Matty's had to carry the load. So it's a very hard thing to do. He's a tough kid. He always wanted to be a Connecticut Husky, which is so cool. I love guys that want us, and he's a guy who wanted us before we wanted him. And he just stuck to his guns and eventually got here and kind of kicked the door in. When the door was just partially open, he kicked the door in and has done an absolutely outstanding job. He's always looking to make the next play. That's really powerful for the 8 other guys on the diamond at the same time to be seeing him. It's the only position that's seen every single pitch, with the exception of the pitcher, I suppose. But every single pitch, that position is visible to everybody, and his face is visible to everybody else out there. He's the only guy, as Coach Baylock, my predecessor and mentor, would say, he's the only guy going the wrong way. And if his body language is neutral, then you're in trouble. And his body language is always positive. He's always looking to make his pitchers better. And it's defense first. His bat has come a long way, as we saw in the regional, but it's always defense first and what he can do for the team. And it's not about Matt, it's about the Huskies. And that's what I love most about him, is he's an other-centric human being first and foremost, and he's a very unselfish teammate.
Jim, you have given the last 3 decades of your life to Uconn's baseball program. And throughout those years, there is always a call, an avenue, an option for anybody in a career to potentially make a right turn, make a left turn, go elsewhere. Why has Uconn been home?
Well, I don't know how much I've given, but I've gotten a lot more than I've given. I know that I've gotten a lot more from Uconn and from the people here. And, the guy who hired me, Jeff Hathaway, was in the stands at College Park. He's a Maryland grad, and he came to cheer for us. Meant the world. He and his wife Paula came, and that was just awesome. And I've been given a lot, so I owe. That's the way I look at it. I owe this program, and it's just it's also kind of been bred in me. My father had one job at East Catholic High School from 1968 through 2011. He was the phys ed teacher and baseball coach, actually retired in 2012 from that position as the phys ed teacher there. His father, Jim Penders, was a phys ed teacher and baseball coach at Stratford High School, his alma mater from the early 1930s up until 1968. So we're kind of all stuck in a rut, the Jim Penders of Connecticut. We're just, I guess we're I'd like to think that we're loyal, but I think my father and my grandfather would say the same thing. They're the richest men that I've ever known, and there's not going to be much in the will, and hopefully I don't get to see that for a long time from my dad, but they're rich with their relationships, and being in one place for one time, I think, exacerbates those relationships, makes them even stronger, because you can be counted on. Just today, we got off the practice field 10 minutes ago, and Pat Mahoney, a guy that I recruited out of Des Moines, Iowa, was here from South Carolina with his family, his wife, Michelle, who he met because he came to Uconn. And he sent me a picture, an ultrasound of his firstborn, who was here today too, and said, "You're responsible for this." And I kind of panicked when I said, what are you saying? But he thought that the fact that I recruited him brought them together. And he has four under the age of 6 that were just running around Elliott Ballpark, and I had to get a picture of them. Just awesome. So that's what I mean when I say, I'm a pretty rich man too. And I just wanted to be more, at the end of the day, I really just want to be more like my dad. So if anybody's to blame for me sticking around here, it's him.
What did he tell you after winning the College Park Regional?
Oh, yeah, I'll probably keep that one private, but let's just say that it was a very emotional moment. And he's not a hugger. He might give you that one-armed hug every once in a while, and when a child is born, or something pretty significant. But that was a full two-armed hug at the end of that ball game, and it was pretty great to have him there. I mean, I don't know who had more fun, him or me, because I was ecstatic to be able to share everything. We shared a room, we shared meals together. We went to mass at the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception on Sunday morning, and prayed together, I guess. So it was really powerful. Just, I could die a happy man after that embrace on Monday night, but hopefully that doesn't happen. We got a lot more work to do.
What a Father's Day it would be if you're spending it in Omaha, Nebraska, which I know is always the goal for your program. To do that, you have to get through the number 2 overall national seed in the Stanford Cardinal Series. Starts on Saturday night, 10:30 Eastern Time, ESPNU. What is the challenge with facing Stanford?
Well, what isn't the challenge? I mean, it's a you're walking into hallowed ground first and foremost, and but at the end of the day, just like Norman Dale, walking into Hinkle Fieldhouse, it's 90 feet between the bases. There's a lot more foul territory there, I'll tell you that. And I'm glad that it says 400 feet on center field fence and not 370 or 380 or whatever it was in College Park. But they're going to be really tough. We're not playing the uniform. No, we've got to go in there with the mentality that, yes, we respect our opponent, but you can't be in awe of Sunken Diamond. You can't be in awe of those pullovers, those iconic uniforms, all that stuff that goes out the window when the umpire says play ball. And otherwise, it's going to be 1-0 before he says play ball, and it's going to be the Cardinal that has that one. So we got to go in there with confidence. But we're going to have our guys armed with just enough information. I mean, they have a great lineup. I think they only have 2 regular starters that are hitting under 300, and they're just under 300. Ton of power, ton of athleticism in up and down that lineup, and some really good arms. So, but we also have faced, we have faced good arms. We have faced really powerful lineups. So this is going to be, in some ways it's comforting in that it's a regular 3-game set. That's how you have to look at it. You got to go out there to try to win a series, just like we've been doing, made a habit of just about every weekend this year, except for one. And kind of relieved to be out of a format that I don't think is natural for our game. And in the regionals, I'd love to see that go to a 2 out of 3 and have another 2 out of 3 the weekend before that. But it is what it is. We're through that tough part. And now it's not going to get any easier, but at least it's a little bit more familiar.
Jim, what does this mean for Big East baseball?
Yeah, I hope people recognize that, hey, the Big East is pretty good. It's a lot better than people give it credit for. We were seasoned. We were prepared to go to Maryland and beat an ACC team and beat a Big Ten team because Georgetown tested us, and Creighton tested us, and Xavier tested us. Seton Hall tested us. We had some really tight ones in South Orange. So, I mean, this is a very competitive league every weekend. There's coaches that really care, and there's players that are gritty and hard-nosed and also very talented. I think that the league gets a bad rap. They're a try-hard league, but they don't really have a lot of talent. I disagree with that. We saw plenty of talent around the Big East. Creighton starter, probably one of the best, definitely one of the best in the country, their Friday night guys. So we were conditioned to do what we did in College Park because of the metal that we faced in the Big East. So I think they should feel pretty good about Big East baseball.
The Huskies taking on Stanford, the Super Regional Series beginning on Saturday night. Uconn making their second all-time appearance in the Supers round. Jim Penders, thanks for the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks so much, John. Great to be with you.